this computer.
Alrighty, folks, welcome to another episode of the Marked for Life Wrestling Podcast. My name is Jeff Bailey.
And I'm Jerry Jones. What is up?
Dynamite is what's up, my man.
Wow.
Dynamite appearances, Tony Khan making statements.
Man.
Or not.
Making statements without actually having to say a word. This was a big show, man. This was a
lots of things happen.
Lots of things
happen. Before we get going, hit the old subscribe, hit the V trigger on that. Drop the elbow on the likes. Leave us some messages. Hit up the old tweet ski. Hit me up there on the old Twitter and we can say hi. Yes,
indeed. And there's lots to talk about, man.
There's the old Twitter. Hey, look at that.
Boom.
Professionalism.
Jeff just keeps doing his homework. Jeff is that guy. He is that guy in class. Don't grade on a curve. He's been after me for a couple weeks now. I'm gonna learn how to do that.
We're working on it. We're gonna get there, guys.
Man. So
all right. So man, the MJF comes out, leads things off.
Man,
this is some a lot of talking, man. A lot of talking to start the old show.
Wardlow just doesn't really seem to be happy to be Is Wardlow a part of the Pinnacle?
It's like good. Well, yeah, supposedly.
Yeah.
And now they've really second classed him. I mean, this is like, but it's one of the points. Like, oh my god, man, how long's gonna take?
Right.
I feel like we've been working on this angle for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
It's like we gotta have something happen.
At a certain point, there needs to be a payoff. It was a lot of talk. I enjoyed it, except it was a little long.
I agree.
Yeah.
A little long. Took Punk a long time to come out there.
Yeah.
But how about the bit carried in? That's just,
I'm like, I hope he knows her, whoever it was he made out with.
He doesn't care.
I mean, clearly she wanted to make out. She decided that she was going to make out.
Yeah, he went
with MJF. Yeah,
passed her off.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There's all sorts of tongue play in this episode. Yeah, we'll get to that later on in the show. But yeah, I found, I didn't love the whole bit with bringing out Darby and Sting, especially since they had a promo.
And it's like, why bring them out if they're not even going to do anything?
They're not going to. Yeah, why bring them out? What I would have loved to have seen is, instead of them, you find a partner and blah blah blah. You just, what? Bring Mox out right then. Like, you know what?
It would have been good.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been, but I mean, a little suspense is good too. But
yeah,
I don't know. I felt it felt a little contrived. The whole Oakham sequence is a little contrived.
Yeah.
And then at least, we get the reward is an actual pretty good Wardlow match.
A really good Wardlow match, I thought, man.
Probably, I think, one of the better matches he's had on television, probably since he's been wrestling, been on this push.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I think that's kind of at least a good payoff.
Yeah.
But then, what do you think about this? And then the Inner Circle thing was just I felt like that was a hot mess.
I mean, I'm going to tell you, man, I loved it. I love Santana and Ortiz, because my daughter was watching part of it with me, and she's like, is he like really, really mad? And I'm like,
yes.
And I'm like, it's, all of this it's working, it's scripted, but I think there's in acting, there's truth. And the truth of the matter is, they're hungry. They want a larger role in the company, and it's hard to know if the beef is real or not. But man, Santana and Ortiz sold the hell of it.
You're basically essentially been second fiddles to Dad Rock.
Yeah,
for quite a while, and you're better than that. kind of everybody's kind of said that, and it looks like this is over.
Yeah.
You know,
Sammy leaving was not a surprise. I felt like that was a really good way.
He's off into the stratosphere, and is
you
know, on another level right now. You know, he basically said, "All takers." You know, Face of Revolution's where it's at, and you know, I don't understand. I thought that was like Face of Revolution was like, it's not for the TNT title. And are we saying it is for the TNT title now? Or I'm moderately confused by the whole aspect.
Yeah, here's the thing. Here's the thing. A lot happened tonight. You know, in this segment, you know, this promo was messy, and that's actually part of what I loved about it. Like it almost felt, I mean, it felt genuine. It felt, I mean, and on the mic, their mic skills, man, are just like, dude. I mean, I was here for it. But I would have rather have just seen them go. Like I would have like,
I kind of think, but I like that Santana got to like have his piece.
Yeah.
And cut a really, really good promo. And but then it's just like as soon as the mic got to Jericho's turn, it was just kind of like whiny, and I'd just like to have them beat them up from there. But
I would I know that, you know, it's a great bit. The fans want to sing the song, and that's really that's what he's bringing to that. But I'm like, you know, you can, you know, sing him out to the announce table. Okay.
Like I said,
I love just Chris Jericho. We all love Chris
Jericho. Everything he said, like, you disrespected me, and the fans want to see me wrestle, and I'm like, oh man, no, nobody really.
No, they don't. We don't want to see you wrestle.
They like the song. They like you as a person, and you know, respect your history and all that. But nobody really wants to watch you wrestle. No, he's so beyond slow in the ring now.
I mean, and nobody, and you know, there may be a few people that want to watch Jericho. Absolutely no one, and I mean no. I'm talking Jake Hager's parents do not want to see him in the ring. There is no circumstance. There is no circumstance whatsoever that there is anybody who's paying to see Jake Hager in the ring, not just wrestling, but standing, talking, nothing. I mean, you know, if Tony Khan's talking about letting people's contracts expire, let his contract.
There's one.
Let that one go, man. Come on. I have no interest in seeing Santana and Ortiz going up against two guys, Jericho, who can't really do the things he could do, you know, 15, 20 years ago, and Hager, things that he could never do. I'm not interested in that match at all.
Boy, I'm kind of hoping they just clean their clocks.
Yeah.
I also wonder if this will like signal maybe Jericho heel
turn. Yeah, possible.
You know? They'll have to go heel to have a chance at beating them. Could be something like that. But then if we go from there, where do we go from there? We didn't go straight to the Moxley or to FTR, did we?
Man, there was so much that happened. We've skipped over the Jay White.
Oh yeah, Jay White. That's right.
And then of course we went to Limitless. That was before Punk and Moxley, right? The man,
was it?
Keith Lee.
I guess it was. Yeah, I guess it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jay White shows up, helps beat up Roppongi Vice. And I kind of was like, I was kind of surprised that was all we saw.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping, I mean, we see something from him on Rampage, or I mean, if this is this is clearly the Forbidden Door swinging with New Japan. And talking about how Bullet Club is for life, which leads to things later.
Right. Yep.
But then we see, you know, Isaiah Cassidy coming out, Face the Revolution, and then we get Keith Lee appearing.
You know,
and Keith looks amazing, and
he looks great.
The Beal of all Beals across the ring, that was incredible.
I mean, you know, someone posted, you know, tonight that he's over more in one match in AEW than in his entire run at WWE. I don't know if that's true, but he's clearly over, clearly beloved. He looked fantastic in the ring.
I think it's one of those things, like, it's just how you book somebody like him.
Yeah.
It's
Tony got this one right, man. What
did.
Do you think of Matt Hardy? Just he's been saying for a couple of weeks now that maybe he needs to be out for Matt Hardy. And do you think this is the end of the AHFO?
Clearly Jeff is on the way. He sold part of it to Andrade already. It's, and then now his shareholders are losing matches, and or what in his company or whatever you want to call it. It's clearly we're heading towards Jeff coming. As far as Jeff goes, I don't want to see him wrestle too much. Because I know how bad a shape the guy's in, and I want him to have some longevity. So I think he's probably going to wrestle maybe once a month or something like that, if that. Special occasions only.
Also, I don't necessarily want to see Matt either. I love these guys. I love the Hardy Boys. I love Jericho. I love Christian Cage. But I don't want to see these guys. Not on a regular basis, man. Not on a regular basis.
There's just too much young and up and coming talent. And the thing is, and then I say that, and then you have this spectacular match with FTR. Ben Punk and Moxley. And it's like you say, oh man, there's so much up and coming. And then proven veterans go out and do what a proven veteran match looks like. And has an amazing tag match.
My thoughts watching that match was, this is professional tag team wrestling right here. This is 4 pros, man, FTR, man, they're kind of the Bryan Danielson of tag team wrestling to me. Regardless of who they're in the ring with, man, really, they are going to make you look good, and they are superb, man. Their chemistry is just off the charts, man. It's so good. Man,
make the other guys look really good.
What you're
supposed to do. That's what it's a good heels do.
Those 4 pros. I feel like there was a missed opportunity though with that whole thing, because we were on a little bit of a sabbatical last week, so we never talked about the Moxley Danielson deal, and Danielson making that pitch to Mox that they could run this company. And I thought tonight, I actually expected to see Bryan Danielson.
He's gonna make some statements on Rampage, apparently. And give us his thoughts. I kind of thought about maybe they should have. I felt like they kind of rushed immediately to commercial after that match was over. I was kind of maybe expecting Danielson to make a statement. I think the Mox was the friendly quick band-aid on the tag match thing. I don't, clearly I don't think that's supposed to be something that's going to continue, but I like the whole, oh, you don't have friends. Hell yeah, you guys got friends. You got a lot of friends.
So I told my daughter that my prediction was going to be Eddie Kingston, but I don't think Eddie's ready to. I was like, maybe Eddie's back. Maybe he's able to get back in the ring.
I stuck to my guns, and I kind of thought I said Will Ospreay and maybe Killer Cross. I at least got a New Japan guy and a WWE guy.
I wanted so much.
Say that.
That's true. My long shot obviously did not happen. It was Liv
Morgan.
That
was way long.
Yeah, but I'm like,
she's still under contract.
She's still under contract, but I'm like, maybe Vince is, willing to. Because I read an interview with her a couple of weeks ago saying she wants to wrestle anybody, everybody, and I'm like, what if Vince? What if my whole thought is like, what if the Forbidden Door? We keep thinking it's a guy, but what if it's not a guy? Yeah, Jay White. I mean, this is, dude. That's gonna be. There's all sorts of storylines you can go with this. What I call the Adam Cole universe, the Adam Cole Kenny Omega universe.
This is like, the Jay White universe is almost the biggest now.
Yeah,
because you have a guy who's wrestling in New Japan, Impact, GCW. He is like a portal. He's like, there's all sorts of doors now that he opens. The only thing bigger would be like, if Matt Cardona does something, but Matt Cardona is the biggest heel in the world right now.
Yeah.
Just tearing the indies apart.
Yeah. I'm curious. I think Tony may have scrapped his announcement. A, for time, and B, when you in a 5-minute span, you gave us Jay White and Keith Lee. I'm just like, my head was on a swivel. I'm like, right? Wait, if he's still making an announcement, what the hell else could he possibly say that could top what's just happened here?
That's what I was kind of wondering. I'm like, is he actually going to say something?
Right.
I don't think so.
I think the original plan was for him to actually make an announcement. I think securing Jay White and Keith Lee is like, I don't need to do that.
Okay, he did make a statement here.
Okay.
He made a statement, thanking everyone for watching Dynamite, so support. Thank you for all the best. But then he said, just 6 minutes ago, he says, I didn't secure Jay White until Sunday. I realized after the fact that Friday night, I butchered my own definition of Forbidden Door in hyping tonight. I heard the fans' feedback and wanted to ensure that tonight was special Dynamite for all. Thank you, everyone who watched.
You know what, Tony? Kudos to you for acknowledging that, that your interpretation of how you stated the Forbidden Door, like it did rub some fans the wrong way. Like, hey, you don't understand. Like, just, he owned it. Good for him. Good on him.
There we go. So, but we get that great Punk match.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go forward from there. What was the next thing we got to see?
Oh gosh, I feel like after that match, was that the Thunder Rosa or the Britt Baker?
Yeah, we got a little Thunder Britt's Mercedes.
Yeah,
the Mercedes Thunder match I think is going to be hopefully good. That DQ was really, really weird, especially for AEW. I know it was kind of a wrinkle.
Yeah.
And I guess if you don't do something very often,
right,
that's okay, I guess.
Yeah.
But again, they'll have a no DQ match for this next one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then we have the Jade match against
what's her name? Yeah. I mean, I just kind of chuckled when they said she graduated from the Booker T school, because I'm like, Booker T's got one of his students wrestling in AEW.
AEW, not in WWE.
What does that tell you, Book? I'm just saying. Jade just keeps getting better. I mean, you could tell she's working with Danielson, and
I feel like she's getting better and better and better. Her timing is improving.
Yeah.
And just the power she was able to show off.
Mm-hmm.
That spot where she tried that arm submission and she literally just picked her up without even.
Yeah.
No effort.
Right.
Carrying an entire human being's body weight.
Yeah.
Just on your arm like it was nothing.
Yeah.
That's impressive. It's really impressive.
Yeah. She's growing on me. It's clear that she is embracing what it means to be a champion. Like, I feel like her everything has just gone up several notches since, she's earning about, and we would be remiss, Jeff, if we didn't mention that tonight was the first time she has defended her TBS championship on
TBS.
Because my thought is, how is it going to be that bit show if the TBS champion is not defending on TBS?
It's funny thinking of this, her being on actually being on TBS. She tweeted out, she was like, "Hey, and I need somebody to tell me some scary movies."
Yeah.
And I recommended Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street 3. And somebody else was like, "Hell yeah, that's a great movie." Just like, as one of the best lines ever. It's like prime time, bitch. It's like, oh, I forgot that's from that movie.
Yeah, I love the Dream Warrior. That is definitely my favorite of the Nightmare on Elm Street. That was awesome. I loved it. I just remember the line, "Where's the bourbon?"
Where's the bourbon, bitch? Oh, Freddy's just the best, man.
Oh, Freddy is so awesome.
That's the thing about those movies, is I mean, you can't take them too seriously.
You can't, no.
Welcome to prime bitch. That's it. I mean, she's got to use that line now. Welcome to prime time, bitch. No, those movies are so funny, and
they really are.
If you watch it with trying to be too serious, you're not going to get it.
Right.
You have to be willing to, like, it's a little crazy. I
mean, here's the thing.
Have fun with it.
I would say if you're watching any scary movie seriously, I mean, now there are thrillers. I mean, there are some scary movies that I feel like are kind of thriller. Like, I love The Shining. Like, even though it may not classify as a scary movie,
right?
As a thriller, though, man, love The Shining.
It's good. It's just one of those. The book is so much better.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things.
Yeah,
but it is good.
When you're a writer, see, this is the writer flex right here, folks. The book is so much better. Yeah.
But no, I think wrestling, very similar to, horror. If you're not going to have a little bit of sense of humor with it,
right?
That's part of what makes it fun.
Yeah.
And that's when some people are like, well, wait, why, people, we go crazy for Danhausen and all this stuff. It's like, because Danhausen is fun. Right. Danhausen is hilarious. Watch something. I mean, and the funny thing is, the guy is like so quick-witted. We can literally put him in almost any situation, and he will ad-lib a way to be funny out of it.
Yeah.
And that's like incredible. And then the fact that you add in that, oh yeah, he can wrestle really, really well.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it takes a special talent, in my view, to not only have a gimmick, but to be in on the joke of your, like,
yes,
I know that that this is a gimmick.
This is preposterous.
Yes,
this is preposterous.
Right.
I mean, they did a thing with they're like, he just was talking to Mark Henry. Mm-hmm. And he like literally cons Mark Henry out of his watch. Like, he's like, this is great. He's like, you give it to Danhausen now. Like, and he's like, well, this is weird. He's like, how much was it? He's like, I don't know, about $1,500. He's like, oh, it's great, thanks. It's like, I'm not gonna wear it. It just steals it. It's just like, I mean, he's literally, that's the best. He's like literally like a con artist too, which just makes him so great.
Did you see Max Caster, their match with the Gun Club?
A little bits of it was pretty good.
I loved his rap. I mean, I just love how Ass Boys is it's just a part of
the song. I mean, have you heard the song that they did?
Yeah.
The 2 minutes to midnight song.
Yeah,
that's their 2 minutes to late night. Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah,
how they're not coming out to that music yet is beyond me.
Yeah,
I mean, but yeah. I mean, it's just like it's getting ridiculous, and that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun and ridiculous.
I would be remiss. I mean, it's usually about this time of the show that I probably make some sort of reference comparing us to the other show, the big mothership of WWE. Show. But even though I've recorded the last couple of weeks of Raw and SmackDown, I haven't watched it, and we're such our AEW is such its own thing now that I don't care. I don't care if WWE crazy fans hate on AEW. I don't care.
I don't either. I watched a really good interview with Killer Cross, and and the guy asked him about it was Shaq from CBS Sports, and he was like, he asked me, he's like, well, what do you think about that? He's like, how the narrative it works right now. He's like, we're at such a point in time. He's like, with social media, with all these companies, with AEW, with everything else that's out there besides the mothership. The fact that there are indies selling out 1,000-seat arenas, and guys are taking home real money, incredible money, like in a way that they don't need. To be on TV and do WWE.
No.
And don't get me wrong, WWE pays so good, and even guys have major contracts and they'll just show up and eat catering and walk with massive paychecks and not even show their face on television.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, and that's great for them. But these guys really want to work. They really want to wrestle all the time. I mean, that's what they're there for.
Yeah,
that's what they
love
want
it.
to do.
Yeah.
There's just like, it's kind of preposterous to say that, okay, we get it. We're all kind of in on it.
Right.
And to the point of, no, do I want to see how the magician does everything? No, but I have to also, I'm also willing to suspend disbelief and understand that I'm getting a show.
Right.
And I want a show. And I know that it's a show. And we all know that it's a show. So go put on a good show.
It's a live action show. It's what it is.
And to try to like keep, try to break, keep this impossible level of kayfabe like WWE tries to do is, it's just not, it's not sustainable, I don't think.
Well,
in the modern world, it could have maintained, in a different time, but it's time to evolve a little bit. It was the great evolver. It evolved at a high level, when the territories were dying. And now the territories have been reborn, and guess what? They all have social media. They all have video. They all they can literally get their matches on TV in some way.
Right.
So now it's not that, you don't need the mothership to get out there and be seen.
Yeah, I feel like WWE, and I'm gonna put AEW in there now too, because I feel like the show just keeps rising. Like I feel like we're like the old school like record companies, right? Where you needed to get signed to a major label in order to get your music out there, and then people started figuring out, you can do this. You can record on your computer. You can distribute digitally. You don't need all this other stuff. And I feel like, so whether you're on a major label with WWE, AEW, or if you are in the independent route, like there's going to be wrestling fans that will support you regardless of the promotion that you're in. You can make money and make a good living, regardless of what promotion you're in. And if we are going to have more pathways through these, I don't even know if we can continue to call it the forbidden door. I don't think that's a thing anymore. I don't think there's anything forbidden.
It's just a door.
It's just a door.
It's just the door.
Now, I think there is like, if WWE is kind of like the Great Wall, they're kind of like the wall and, kind of the Game of Thrones, like, they gotta, they're gonna, the Night's Watch, they're not gonna let anybody in or out, but the rest of the promotions are going to continue to find ways, I think, to support each other and work together when it serves their interest, and that's all we can do.
I also wouldn't doubt that there will be a wave of people who are signed back to WWE contracts.
Yeah.
Eventually, at some point in time.
I agree.
And that's the kind of the funny thing is like, how did it, you said we didn't want to talk much about the big boy. How do you post $1 billion in revenue and also have massive layoffs of your workers?
But that's a big corporate model. That's what the big corporations do. They usually lay people off into the third quarter, going into the fourth, and then they balance their earnings sheets look really good. And when you're trying to sell it, when you're positioning
it's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
It's pretty terrible.
But hey, I'm glad to take the Keith Lees of the world and the Bryan Danielsons of the world.
Yeah, you don't
keep them coming. Yeah.
I'll take them.
Yeah, keep them coming, man.
I mean, I don't know about you. I enjoyed watching him wrestle tonight immensely. So, I'll take it.
Yeah. With all this talent, though, we need Rampage to be 2 hours. And I
agree.
And I want less talking.
I agree completely.
I want more wrestling.
That's a must. There's almost 30 minutes of talking to start Dynamite tonight. That's pretty unacceptable to me. We need to start off with some wrestling. I mean, we haven't even talked about the match. It's finished. What do we think of the Texas Death Match?
Wow.
Hadn't even really discussed it.
Wow. Here's the thing that I've learned, and just the handful of because I know if y'all knew, I didn't watch AEW the first year in 2019, really late to AEW, like early 2021. So Hangman Adam Page, I have been critical, maybe as a champion.
He's an unknown commodity to you.
Yeah, unknown commodity to me. But here's what I've gathered in watching a handful of his matches. I feel like each match, the flow of the match almost encapsulates that 2-year journey he was on. Slow. I mean, it does. But this one kind of got off to a bang. But usually there's like not a dramatic.
He's traditionally a slow builder.
Slow builder. Intensity just builds up. Man, this match delivered. I loved it.
There's really only one hated moment for me. When Lambert makes the decision to take down the turnbuckle, to take down the top rope, they pull it off. Yeah. There's the moment where Hangman realizes the rope's gone, the top rope's gone.
Yeah.
He just like stands there and like just this like absolute, what is going on? Oh my Lord! Like. No, snap out of it and move on.
Yeah.
It's like I don't love the dumb baby face trope, and I never have. It's just like, when they're just stunned that the heels have done something
right
bad.
Yeah.
The other real spotlight moment for me, Jake hitting the signature short arm.
Yes. Yeah.
And locking up for the DDT.
And Lance is like, hey.
Oh man, that was electric, dude.
I wanted him.
My childhood was coming true.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is gonna happen. I mean, if he'd have dropped him with the DDT, that
I wanted that. I wanted that so bad.
Millennia.
But man, did the intensity just seem to ramp up.
That was amazing.
From there. I love that, Hangman pulled the Anna Jay, wrapped the
barbed wire. This was my bloodletting. And I'm not, I feel like we've gone for the death matches a little too much. It's one of those things. If this had been a 6-month blood feud, if this is a 6-month blood feud, it's going on, and this is the gigantic send off for this, blood feud. I'm all right with it. This is the 3-week build, essentially.
Right.
And and they're getting color 6 ways from Sunday, and and just my poor civilian lady is watching this and she's about ready to throw up.
Yeah. I loved it though. I mean, there were some great spots. Hangman, he can take some punishment, man. That dude
really can. And
he's tougher than a $2 steak, man.
He can sell pretty damn well.
Yeah.
I
mean, that move on the ring step, I'm like, oh my God.
Sick. That was really
sick. My gosh. He's gonna need that chiropractor, man, that they all go to. He's definitely gonna
need that. But I love the improv vaulting over the ref for the buckshot was awesome. And there's always a tidbit of choreography to these matches, and it's kind of like, oh, I wonder why these 2 tables are here, and oh, what do you know? It just works out completely that this is the end of the match the way it needed to work.
What did you think of the count out?
I thought it was perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, no, it's a 10 count. It's a Texas death match. Yeah. It's 10 counter submission. So
yeah,
perfect. Hangman gets up at like 8 and he doesn't make 10. Perfect.
Can we do Texas death matches in Texas though? Can we?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
New Jersey, I know what you have this match in New Jersey.
Yeah,
because New Jersey has really loose with the athletic commission.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the high amount of bloodletting and everything happened tonight. They're typically pretty loose. So
look, Lance, I get it. You did, it wasn't a pizza cutter, but a fork obviously did the job. The
Moxley move. That's like the John Moxley, dude. That's you stealing out of Johnny's repertoire. He might come after you for that one.
But the licking of the fork,
that was pretty nasty.
That was
he has a special level of demented.
Yeah, that dude.
He has one of the best dead behind the eyes stares I've ever seen. I mean, it is impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right though. For a manufactured feud, it was a lot, but I loved it. I loved I was here for it. I was enthralled. I was on the edge of my seat. I'm like, oh, this is just gory, just beauty. It was just violence on top of violence. It was like a violent sandwich, just everything really you want to throw on a violent sandwich. They had it. It was,
and they did it was fast too.
Yeah,
I was kind of wondering about how long this match would be, and it was only about 10 minutes, and they got a lot in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Didn't love after the match. I didn't love that. I didn't love how it ended at all. I didn't. I'm a little bit over, because we saw this last week when
Adam Cole coming out.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the same when Darby came out. It's Sammy, and he like, I'm staring at your belt. I'm like,
me next now. I got nexties.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't love it.
I'm thinking we're gonna get a scathing promo next week.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, and him, talking about Jay White and the Bullet Club. I think he is going to remind him, I let you into the Bullet Club. It was me. I let you in the Bullet Club. Your whole run started with your whole run in New Japan even started with me. So, I think there's going to be I think this is going to be build hot and fast.
Yeah, it's going to be hot, and we need. Because I will tell you this, obviously I love CM Punk. I love MJF. If I don't hear those two talking to each other in the ring for a year, I would be great. I'd be happy with that. I'm this whole rematch. wanting to fight War. I don't want any of that. If it involves MJF and CM Punk talking to each other, I don't want it. Set me up all day for Adam Cole, Adam Hangman Page. Give me that. I want that. I am ready.
There's plenty of really good stuff to be happening. Rampage looks like it's going to be a burner. A banger.
Yeah.
Got, Jurassic Express versus the Gun Club.
Yeah.
Hopefully Danhausen comes out with Gun Club.
Mm-hmm.
I hope for Hook gets top student we've never seen before from QT Marshall.
At what point are we going to move Hook off of these? Well, I mean, is it time that when will he get elevated? Like, how long is he going to get before he, moves,
to the mid? I don't know. I think you got to try to milk him for some Rampage ratings as much as possible.
I mean,
WWE has still not put Veer on TV.
What are they waiting on?
I don't know. They're waiting on Hook to become world champion. That's what they're waiting on. 2 years from now, Hook's AEW world champion. Veer debuts on
right. We're just saving you for the right time.
For you, Roman. Roman world champ for 7 years at this point.
Oh my gosh.
Then Veer finally debuts.
They're gonna let him break Bob Backlund's record. He's gonna break Bob Backlund's record. Well, actually,
you think so? He's like champ for 20 years.
Yeah. I think that's what they're setting it up for, man.
Oh man, he's got to start using the crossface chicken wing then. Yeah. Screw the guillotine choke, Roman.
I mean, that's the thing.
We're going to the crossface chicken wing.
For everyone that says that Vince is just this unstoppable genius, I'm like, he gave us Bob Backlund for 6.5 years. So there you go.
Bob was entertaining as fuck for those 6 years, my friend.
Man, what I would give, talking about guys walking through that door, what I would love for the Iron Sheik, even though we can't really do the Iron Sheik in 2022, can we? I mean,
not like you did before.
Yeah. You know how bummed,
he's just the funny guy who pisses his pants.
How bummed I was to find out that the great Kamala was from like Detroit.
It's always just a big disappointment, isn't it, Jerry? Man, Jerry, growing up, I loved Silver Dollar City. And
yeah.
I'll never forget the sheriff walked up to me and I noticed he had like on modern boots, like laced boots. And I was like, oh man, what the hell? No. The illusion's gone. Just like the day, when the Beyond the Mat guy watched the wrestler get into his shitty Honda Civic and drive off. Yeah. The illusion's kind of gone.
I will tell you how I lost the illusion was my dad used to take my cousins and I probably 2 or 3 times a month down to Memorial Hall during the NWA territory days.
Mm-hmm.
And Ric Flair was there in Kansas City. He had defended against a guy named Dewey Stevenson.
Was it an NWA show or was it a CSW show?
It was so it was Central States Wrestling, but he had defended the NWA title.
Gotcha.
Down there. And like we had gone to stuff, then we went to Gates. And while we're at Gates, Ric Flair and Dewey Stevenson and a couple of the other guys
show up,
walk in together at Gates.
The boys needing some barbecue.
But I'm like, but they were just fighting each other.
They just almost killed each other.
And Dad's like, well, son, I don't know how to tell you this. This is the way to find out, but it's all choreographed. It's all
they're pals.
Staged. Yeah. And that's how I found out that wrestling was not true like conflict with each other.
No, it's not quite the pure the wonderful show it's made up to be.
So I went through a phase where I'm like, I don't want my wrestling magazines. I was getting PW, Pro Wrestling Illustrated. I was getting was it just The Wrestler? It was like 2 different or Inside Wrestling.
Inside Wrestling.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't want these anymore. And so there are a couple that would come in the mail, and I threw them away. And then I'm like, I miss wrestling. And so, but yeah, it was, little Jerry was not happy. Yeah.
Broke your heart.
Broke my heart, man. But
I guess, I grew up liking the bad guys. So
yeah.
There's no heartbreaking to be had when
Yeah.
rooting. I was always rooting for Hot Rod to take down Hulk Hogan.
Oh, I loved my share of bad guys. Loved Bruiser Brody. Loved Roddy Piper. Like that one of my favorite things to watch still is watching the whole Piper's Fit with Jimmy Snuka.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. There's no way you could do that today. There is no way. Yeah,
I've almost got a Hot Rod somewhere action figure from that era too.
Man.
Don't know where it is, but he's around somewhere. But yeah, I grew up like I said, I loved Harley. I grew up loving Harley race. Handsome Harley. He was gonna be there.
Yep.
He's gonna wrestle somebody.
Yeah.
I'm pretty ssure I watched him wrestle Abdullah the Butcher for an hour.
Oh man, Abdullah the Butcher was the best.
For an hour.
Man. Yeah, I think that's lost. I mean, we marvel at when Danielson.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I watched Harley Race wrestle for an hour multiple times.
I've seen Harley Race and Ric Flair go an hour multiple times, for sure.
So it's like
I've seen Harley and Bruiser Brody go damn near an hour. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, man, for those of you who Abdullah the Butcher. Oh my God. So
I mean, if people think they've seen a violent in the modern era, think they've seen someone be violent in a professional wrestling ring.
Oh,
it's like,
man.
You just don't understand.
Yeah.
The guy was just pure violence and dimension.
Yeah.
And, and he looked like he wanted to kill you.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing. That's one thing I really love when I'm watching a wrestling match. When I'm watching someone wrestle and they literally look like they're trying to win at all times.
Yes.
They're always trying to find a cover. They're trying to find a way to win or bend, whatever. Then there's the guys who you watch wrestle and they're almost more of like the John Moxleys or Abdullah the Butchers of the world. And it's just like, how much can I hurt you? How much violence can I inflict on you?
Yeah.
And it is kind of a bit of a lost art, and was scary.
Yeah,
he was scary to watch.
He was a big guy, and I just as a kid, I only saw him in person maybe 4 or 5 times, but each time it was just like, because the thing is, as a kid, I never knew who was going to be. So if my dad knew, he didn't tell us. I didn't know who was going to be there. You get the card, and you're like, oh, Abdullah the Butcher, or there was a guy named Dick the Bruiser who was kind of a guy back when my dad was younger, and but he was another one of these crazy guys, and like he didn't have a match where people didn't bleed, like
yes,
and like it was it kind of makes me want to go back and find some of these old death matches, with Dirty Dick Murdoch and the Funk Brothers and all. I kind of want to go back and
watch the King of the Death match from Japan. Oh man, that's just that's just some crazy stuff. But I guess it's one of those things. I see that it has its time and place. I kind of maybe once every now and then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can have a world title match with no blood.
Yeah. Sometimes you just.
It is possible. It is possible.
Yeah. Sometimes you could just have a good match. But the thing is, I would not have been interested in a match with Murdoch without. I needed this. I needed
an extra level of violence.
Yeah. That was the only thing that made me.
I can see that.
But Hangman Adam Page made a believer out of me tonight.
He's making more of one out of me as time goes on. I still want more aggression on the microphone. I want more champ swagger. I want that championship swagger.
Yeah,
I guess is what I want. Bring me more. I think he's now going to have to go toe to toe on the microphone with Adam Cole, who is red hot on the mic. You know, and he's over as fuck. So you got a lot to compete with right now.
I mean, yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, you know, he doesn't have gold, but he doesn't need it to pop. Like, it's like, you know, MJF is claiming to be the uncrowned champion, but I feel like that's actually a position held by Adam Cole. Like, he's kind of he's the people's champ, I would say,
currently
right now. Yeah,
I'd say so.
But I think tonight's match is going to help him with that swag, because it's like, hey, I took an ass beating. I gave an ass beating. You know, the entitled,
put the murder hawk down.
The entitled cowboy thing. I feel like they can hopefully try to bury that. What he needs to stop tweeting about stuff. Don't ever tweet your Tesla with the bull horns on it again. Let that stupid crap go. This is, you know,
bullhorn Tesla.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, but I'm a fan of his now. I'm
officially
team Hangman, baby, all day.
Limitless Keith Lee.
Yeah. That big brother gives me some hope. I'm like, man, I need to get back in the gym. That dude can move.
They say he can move really well.
And man, he's showing video from his wedding reception. The dude's got some moves on the dance floor. Brother can dance. Move. Yeah, man.
Dude, how's that a swerve? He's posting pictures of him and the lady on the beach this morning.
Yeah, man.
Swerving everybody.
Yeah, man. Keith Lee is
well done.
Living his best life right now, brother. Welcome to AEW, man.
Oh, enjoy married life, my friend.
Yeah, limitless, baby.
All righty, guys. Hit us up on the old Twitskis.
Yep. And yes, you see.
Ooh. Look at that.
Well, and Jeff, you're just a much better follow on Twitter anyway.
I guess. Hey, man, you did see I got some love.
Yes, you did.
Peeps.
Yeah, you did.
To follow. Hey, you know, and hey, anybody out there in the Twitter world who does that, that's amazing.
For what it's worth, for what it's worth, anyone watching.
And here you go. Follow this guy. Where's he at? Follow Jerry Jones. There's his info.
Yeah. For what it's worth, anybody who's watching this right now, maybe check out Shayna Baszler's Twitter handle. I find it very interesting.
What'd you change it to?
Shayna Baszler's her Twitter handle. Very interesting. You know, it's like, it's one of those things, if you know.
Groovy Ash 88. She was the nice gal that gave me some love. So follow her on Twitter.
Yes. Awesome. Man. But I love this graphic. I'm going to get my technological game together.
Mark for life, baby.
For life.
Follow us at the old Mark for Life Wrestling Show. We'll see you guys.
Deuce. Says.